following is a presentation of Washington and Lee women's basketball on 91.5 FM WLUR Lexington. Now let's go live to the gymnasium. Here is Jeremy Franklin.
Hi everybody, welcome to the Kreger Center here in Salem, Virginia. Tonight the Washington and Lee women's basketball team opens up Old Dominion Athletic Conference play, taking on the Maroons of Roanoke College. Jeremy Franklin with you for the play-by-play. Joining me tonight is Tyler Helms. And the regular season, Tyler, started just over a week ago. Already thinking about a conference matchup that could have implications for the ODAC tournament in February.
Well, first ODAC matchup of the year for the Generals. On the other side, the Maroons have already had a conference game this year. They dropped that one to Guilford. But for the Generals on the other side, you want to come out and start strong here in conference play. Is now you added 18 conference games in the regular season. It doesn't leave you much time to experiment with lineups and things of that nature as you might have had in the past. So it's go right into it in conference play.
So as you mentioned, Roanoke falling at Guilford, but 3 victories for the Maroons, including very quality win against Piedmont on Sunday right here at the Kreger Center, day 2 of the Gene Beamer Classic, a tournament the Generals played in last year. Piedmont led by 12 points in the second half of that ball game. There was a massive turnaround, a 29-point swing in favor of Roanoke, which outscored the Lions 35-9 in the fourth quarter, 22-3 in the final 5.5 minutes of that contest to win 70-53. Molly Hassel led the Maroons with 16 points. Back to the Generals side, Tyler, they are 2-1. Beat Stevenson on the road in the season opener. Haven't played a home game yet. In fact, will not do so until next Tuesday when Lynchburg comes to the Generals' temporary home at the Duchess Watt Tennis Center. Went up to Lancaster, Pennsylvania this weekend. 4-point loss to Haverford. Game the Generals had the lead in late. Bounced back with the win over Franklin and Marshall. And the big storyline for the Generals this season is youth. There are 5 returning players on the 2018-19 roster and 6 first years, 3 of whom we expect to start tonight, 4 of whom will play significant minutes.
Well, when you talk to those upperclassmen, they say, yes, we are young, we have the youth, but we can use that to our ability to sneak up on some teams and not know what to expect when we come out there on the floor. 2-1 to start the year, and so that young unit's gelling well to start. The first years have stepped up big already this season.
It helps for the Generals that, knock on wood, Taylor Casey is healthy again. She had a terrific rookie campaign. Her sophomore season wasn't derailed, but it was curtailed by injury. She did not play in the November and December games and never really looked quite like herself. But Taylor Casey went off for 27 points in the 62-55 win at Franklin and Marshall on Sunday. The most impressive thing about that, this will stun you if you follow the Generals over the last couple of years, she did not hit a single three-pointer. She's already 6th all-time in May trays at Washington and Lee, but got to the foul line a lot, 13 of 14 at the line. And Tyler, as a team this season, the Generals have been excellent at the charity stripe.
Well, they've been fantastic, 88.5% from the line. And you mentioned Casey, 13 for 14 that last game, and you look, okay, maybe that's just one player going to get done. No, as a team, 25 for 28 at the charity stripe. Look for them to try to attack the basket and get to the line often.
Another stat that you had circled is rebounding. Both teams fairly even in terms of number of rebounds, but the Maroons have an edge in terms of rebounding margin.
Well, the rebounding margin in their favor, 6.2 per game compared to just 0.7 for the Generals. And so I see that as a key moving forward over the course of this game, is who can win the battle of the boards. And particularly on the offensive glass as well, leading to second chance points. The Maroons have done a good job on the offensive glass, 14.8 offensive rebounds per game, just 9.7 for the Generals.
Roanoke with a big lead in the all-time series, 35-16, but trending in the Generals' favor in recent years. They've won 8 of the last 10, 4 straight here in Salem. Each team won on the other's home court in 2017-18. The Generals got a 67 to 52 win here at the Kreger Center last December behind 22 points from Emily Persick, one of the all-time greats whom the Generals will certainly miss this year. Molly Hassel led Roanoke with 13 points. The Maroons got some revenge at the Water Center in mid-January, 74-64 of the 5 Roanoke starters scored in double figures, led by 18 points from Molly Hassel. 3-point threat, and still one of the top offensive weapons for Carla Flaherty's team here in 2018-19. Tonight's broadcast coming to you live on WLUR All Access and WLUR Lexington 91.5 FM. We'll take a short break, come back with the starting lineups in first quarter action.
180 over 111, and I had a stroke.
145 over 92, and then I had a heart attack.
150 over 90, and I had a stroke.
This is what high blood pressure sounds like. You might not feel its symptoms, but the results from a heart attack or stroke are far from silent. Get back on your treatment plan or talk with your doctor to create a plan that works for you. Go to loweryourhbp.org.
Everything's changed.
Brought to you by the American Heart Association, American Medical Association, and the Ad Council.
Come on, smile. Oh, honey, he's still not smiling.
Maybe he's not a smiler.
Yeah, maybe he's just not a happy baby.
Maybe he's just being a boy.
Or maybe he's teething.
Maybe it's just a phase.
Maybe he has autism, and we can definitely do something to help.
Maybe is all you need to find out more about autism. No big, joyful smiles by 6 months is one early sign. Learn the others at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
My name is Lola Silvestri, and I'm going to be 95 this year. I was very independent. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You just heard this exact message without the s and s. If that was to understand, imagine your local hospital was missing the d types. Schedule to redcross.org. You just heard this exact message without the A's, B's, and O's. If that was hard to understand, imagine your local hospital was missing the A, B, or O blood types, and a loved one was in desperate need of a blood transfusion. Schedule to donate at redcrossblood.org.
Once again, welcome live to the Kreger Center here in Salem. Beautiful facility, third year of operation on the Roanoke College campus. Jeremy Franklin alongside Tyler Helms as Washington and Lee takes on Roanoke. The ODAC Women's Hoops opener for the General second conference game of the year for the Maroons. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you in part by the Washington and Lee University Store. Owned and operated by W&L, the University Store is located right on campus in Elrod Commons. The store features a wide range of apparel celebrating Washington and Lee, including the Peter Millar Collegiate Collection, offering polos and sweaters for your game day style. If you're looking for workout gear, we have a variety of performance apparel from Nike and Under Armour. All proceeds go back to the Washington and Lee community, helping to fund athletic alumni and student programs. The store is open 7 days a week during the school year. Order online anytime at store.wlu.edu. Busy night in the ODAC. One other conference game, that's Randolph-Macon at Bridgewater. Kelly Williams and the defending champion Yellow Jackets take on the undefeated Eagles. There were some early afternoon tip-offs with the holiday break upon us. Southern Virginia has beaten Eastern Mennonite 75-70 up in Harrisonburg. We saw the Knights take on the Generals in a scrimmage at the Duchess-Watt Tennis Center. They could surprise some teams in the Capital Athletic Conference this season. First year at EMU for Jenny Logan, who had been at Hollins and was a great point guard for Bridgewater in the not-too-distant past. Let's take a look at the starting lineups in just a moment. Did you get the Generals lineup here? We weren't given them pregame.
I did catch the Generals lineup there. Starting lineup for the Generals is going to be Jordan Dill. She'll be joined by Megan Horn, Kate Groninger, Andy Smithy, and Taylor Casey.
For the Maroons, it'll be Christina Harrell, Molly Hassel, Victoria Maxwell, Kayla Kinsler, and Renee Alquiza.
Well, Alquiza, a first year as well. You talk about the first years for the Generals. First year in Alquiza steps up early in this season for the Maroons.
That lineup for the Generals, the same five that began the game against Franklin and Marshall on Sunday. A 7-point win for Washington and Lee behind. 27 from Taylor Casey, her highest output since setting the WL postseason record with 32 points against Roanoke in the first round of the tournament 2 years ago. Courtside at the Kreger Center, so glad to have you along. Washington and Lee in blue, Roanoke in white. As we get underway, Horn and Maxwell on the tap. It's controlled by the Maroons. They go left to right here in the first half. Molly Hassel brings it wing right side. The Generals come out in man-to-man defense. To the left wing it comes to Alquiza. Drops it off to Kinsler, driving baseline. Ball knocked away by the Generals and recovered by Kate Groninger. Transition chance for Roanoke back defensively. Groniger gets it top of the key, sends it left side to Casey. Maroons also started man defense. Groniger deep left corner, back out front to Megan Horn. Horn on the attack, down the lane, the floater up too strong off the window and rebounded by Harrell. Now the Maroons will push it. Harrell ships it ahead to Kayla Kinsler. Comes to Alkiza left side, three is up, no good off the back iron, and a shove off on Victoria Maxwell on the rebound.
Maxwell there just trying to get herself into position there, but committing the early foul.
No score, 9:17 to play first quarter. Taylor Casey jogs it ahead for the Generals. Sends it out front to Horn, left side to Jordan Deal. Deal back to Horn. Now Groniger at the free throw line, hands behind to Horn, who will fire up the three. That's no good, and rebounded by Kinsler. Outlet to Molly Hassel, still looking for the game's first points. Hassel, foul line extended right side. Pick and roll, looking for Alkiza, and Megan Horn reaches in and rips the ball away. Ahead to Deal to Smithy. Smithy going in against Maxwell. Wild shot is a miss. Groniger tracks down the basketball in the corner and throws it off the leg of Kayla Kinsler. Out of bounds, it will belong to Washington and Lee.
That's a play there by Groniger, realizing where she is on the sideline and able to just throw it off of the Maroons.
0-0, 8:41 to play in the opening period. Casey to the left side to Megan Horn. Shot clock did not reset on the miss, so it's at 16. Ball knocked away by Harrell. She's got it open floor, one-on-one with Groniger. Layup good. Christina Harrell puts Roanoke up 2-0 off the steal. Brought back across by Megan Horn. Horn dribbling between the circles. Ships it left side to Deal. Deal, one bounce, and across to Taylor Casey. Back to Horn on the left wing. Horn to Groniger in the corner. 11 to shoot. Groniger double team. Kick to Horn. Left side. Three is up. That's short. And the rebound to Maxwell. Numbers here. Hassel, great pass in transition as she hits Harrell in stride. And it's 4-0 Maroons. Just over 2 minutes in. And the Generals with a quick turnover. Not a lot of fluidity, Tyler, to the Generals' offense in the first couple of minutes.
But just an unforced error there with that errant pass out of bounds.
4-0 Maroons. 2 transition buckets already for Christina Harrell. Comes at averaging a team-high 11.5 per game. Smithy reaching it against Alkiza, top of the key, knocks it away. Alkiza to the deck to get it back. Now Hassel has it, deep left corner. She'll send it over to Harrell. Across to Kinsler, ready to shoot right side. Drains the three, and the Maroons have a 7-0 lead. Generals have missed their first 4 shots from the field. Also have a couple of turnovers. Andy Smithy out front, hands off to Taylor Casey. Step back three, in and out for Casey, but an offensive rebound for Deal. Going to work against Kinsler, now dishes out to Horn. Her 3-ball won't go, and the long rebound deflects out to Alkiza. Couple of good looks for the Generals, nothing falling. Entry pass from Kinsler at the other end, kicked away. That'll get us a stoppage with 6:57 to go. The Maroons up 7-0.
Well, Generals have had open looks, especially beyond the arc, just not able to get anything to fall here early. A little over 3 minutes gone in this one.
They were ice cold from 3 against Franklin and Marshall, 1 for 21. Still won the game. Kinsler inside to Victoria Maxwell. Step back elbow jumper, no. And Alkiza over the back of Andy Smithy on the rebound. Aaron Addison is checked in for the Generals, another one of those first years, along with Deal, Horn, and Groniger, all of whom see big minutes for Washington and Lee. Deal deep left corner. Kick back out to Casey. Hits Smithy just outside the lane. Smithy attacks. Layup, no, but a late whistle and a foul. And the Generals will have a chance to score from the free throw line.
An area that they have performed well this season. Smithy heading to the line.
Andy Smithy, the junior from Charlotte, one of the 2 captains of this Washington and Lee team, along with the other Andy, it's Andy Carandi. See Aaron Hughes for the first time, the sophomore from Raleigh. Smithy hits the first free throw, 6:35 to go. Generals on the board. Smithy knocks the second down, and it's 7-2. And W&L will pick up some full court pressure as well. Kinsler double team, got it away to Maxwell, now to Hassel. Looks like a 1-2-1-1. Hassel brings it up the left side. Tough pass, but a good catch by Alkiza right in front of the Generals bench. Away to Maxwell. Elbow jumper, no. Rebound to Groniger, but we have a foul against the Generals. while the ball was in the air. It's not on Groninger. Aaron Hughes instead made some contact against Christina Harrell, and the Maroons will keep possession.
Maroons looking to capitalize on the second chance.
That's the first foul on Washington and Lee. 6:20 to play, baseline inbounds. It comes to Hassel. Dribbles right side, swings it over to Kinsler. Inside Alquiza, posting up Hughes. Got a piece of the shot. Alquiza rebounds, hits the cutting Harrell. Her running layup, no. Alquiza gets it back. She misses, and finally Addison secures it for Washington and Lee, and she wants to run. Addison to the foul line at the other end, kicks to Hughes, left corner three. An air ball, missed everything. And now Harrell sprinting back the other way. Harrell all the way down the lane, layup, good. She's got 3 transition buckets, 9-2 Maroons. Fast pace to this game. General still without a basket, only the 2 Andy Smithy free throws so far. Addison on the attack, hands off to Smithy. Away to Hughes on the left side. Hughes out to Casey, good look right wing for 3, that's good. Taylor Casey from long range, and the Generals are within 4.
Casey looking to heat it up from downtown. Career 35% shooter from beyond the arc.
So a 4-point ball game. Maxwell gets it inside and scores on the switch. She was being defended by Casey. Not a good matchup defensively for the Generals there. Casey at 5'7", Maxwell at 6'1". 11-5. Hughes takes it to the foul line. Step back jumper short, and Kinsler grabs it for the Maroons. Midway point of the opening period. 6-point Roanoke lead. Harrell on the perimeter. Out front to Maxwell. Hands it off to Kinsler. Now inside Alquiza, posting up Hughes, leans in, layup, no, good defense by Aaron Hughes. Generals control, here comes Taylor Casey. Stops out front, dishes off to Hughes, back to Casey. Now across to Addison. Addison away to Groninger. Now Smithy outside the lane, finds Casey, right corner 3 is up, in and out. Hughes the rebound, uncontested underneath, and she lays it in.
Hughes in perfect position right there on the offensive glass.
Stick back for the sophomore. Generals back within 4. Hassel, the other end, looking for Maxwell. Smithy jumps the passing lane, and both players to the deck. They tie up, and Washington and Lee will get it on the alternating possession. That will take us to a stoppage here. We'll keep it right here. 4:15 to play in the opening period, and Roanoke in front of Washington and Lee 11-7. The Generals couldn't buy a bucket in the opening couple of minutes, maybe starting to settle in offensively.
Well, the Generals have had several open looks for the left corner 3, and they've just not got them to fall, but they've done good on their rotations, and the Maroons have been late on that rotation over to defend that shot, so if the Generals can get that shot to fall, that could be key for them moving forward.
Lots of big losses for Washington and Lee, many of them expected. Emily Persick exhausted her eligibility graduating last season, a player who finished her career 5th all-time in scoring, set the program record for free throw percentage. Taylor Casey will have a chance to break that if she keeps shooting at the line like she has been this season and throughout her career. Aylin Kelly, Emma Redding, 2 players who brought a lot to the table for Washington and Lee. They got used to playing without another member of the senior class, Andrea Ferrero, who got hurt on this floor last season. One loss that was unexpected. Katie Popp was the ODAC Rookie of the Year and decided to transfer back home to New York. Player who averaged over 14 points and 4.5 rebounds per game during her rookie season. So a very different look for Washington and Lee here in 2018-19. We'll get your thoughts on that in just a moment. Back to action here, a 4-point Roanoke lead. Just over 4 minutes left in the opening period. Andy Carandi, the lone senior on this roster, is in for the Generals now. She hands it off to Addison. Back out to Groninger on the wing. Deal and Horn have returned as well. Carandi gets it top of the key. Shot clock at 8. Feeds Groninger on the cut. Double team. Kick back out to Horn. Horn drives. Floater up. No. And then she ends up running into Christina Harrell and is called for a player control foul. Dead ball means the Generals can pick up their pressure. Roanoke solving it. A good string of passes, and Whitney Hobson brings it over midcourt. It's Hobson, Harrell, Maxwell, Hassel, and Asia Alexander now for Roanoke. Harrell driving in from the wing, misses at the rim. Offensive rebound for Alexander. Her putback is good, and she's fouled.
Foul's going to be on Groninger there. Good position by Alexander to get the rebound and go straight back up to the basket for the and one opportunity.
So 3:26 to play in the quarter. This is Alexander, the first year from North Chesterfield, Virginia. Free throw is up, no good, so it's 13-7. Ahead comes Karandi for the Generals. Stops at the right elbow, backs out against Hassel. Roanoke still in man-to-man. Now hits the cutting Horn. Horn gets to the rim, running layup, no. Had to shoot across her body to get it over Alexander. At the other end, Hobson for the Maroons. Hobson the drive, the scoop shot, no in traffic, and a strong rebound by Megan Horn. 3 minutes left, first quarter. Roanoke up by 6. Karandi out front for the Generals, wants to work it inside to Deal, can't get it to her, and has to hand off to Addison. And then Aaron Addison called for traveling out front. So a stoppage with 2:51 to play. Taylor Casey. Breaks probably aren't going to be very long for her in the early part of the season especially. 19.3 points per game, highlighted by the 27 that she dropped against F&M on Sunday. Hasselwing left side for Roanoke. One dribble, works it back out to Hobson. Hobson away to Harrell. Shot clock at 11. Harrell into the lane, and then her pass down low to Maxwell comes off the foot of Jordan Deal. Shot clock was down to 10. It will be bumped back up to 15. And a baseline inbounds play coming up for the Maroons. And Alexander one-on-one with Deal. Dish out to Hassel. Now Maxwell in the high post. Flips it back to Molly Hassel. Hassel driving baseline, pulls up, 10-footer goes 9, and the rebound to Megan Horn. 2:16 left in the first, 13-7 Maroons. Horn, deep left corner, Jordan Deal. Deal dribbling on the wing. Gets it to Karandi, who's open. 3-ball is up, no good. And long rebound out to Harrell. 2-on-2 for the Maroons. Harrell hits the trailing Hobson, and a player control foul is the call. It's Andy Karandi who got back and drew the charge.
Good job by Karandi, getting in position, setting her feet. It looked like Harrell was going to be out in front there again. She's utilized her speed well and got a couple of easy buckets in this one, but a good job there defensively by the Generals to prevent that from happening.
Been stuck at 13-7 for a moment or two here. Minute 59 to go. The Generals 2 of 12 from the field so far, 1 of 7 from 3. And continuing to trail here on the road. Casey bounce pass left side to Jordan Deal. Out front to Smithy. Andy Smithy to the wing. Hands it off to Taylor Casey. Casey. That ball I thought came off the foot of Hobson. It's rolling the other way. Hobson runs it down. Looking for a one-on-one transition bucket. No. Rebound to Karandi. Saves it into Casey. And the Generals run the floor. 3-on-3. Casey down the lane. Runner is up. Off glass and good. Second bucket for Casey. Generals cut the lead down to 4. But they lose a Roanoke player in transition. What a great block by Megan Horn, as it looked like Ayanna Scarborough was going to have a wide open layup. Horn came from out of nowhere. At the other end, Karandi gets a deep left corner. Entry pass to Smithy. Double team. Kick to Casey. Left side 3. Good. And the Generals are within 1.
Taylor Casey beginning to heat up.
Inside a minute to play. First period. Roanoke 13. Washington in lead 12. Scarborough on the wing for the Maroons. Flings it to the corner to Hobson. Hobson inside Alexander. Here comes the double. Back out to Hobson. 10 to shoot. Hobson one-on-one with Casey. Harrell sets the screen. Hobson attacks. Bounce pass to Alexander. Mid-range jumper in and out. Good look for the Maroons, but it doesn't fall. And then we've got a Roanoke foul after Megan Horn had grabbed the rebound, and that should put the Generals in the bonus. It is indeed the 5th team foul on the Maroons.
And when you're the General shooting as well as you have from the line so far this season, being in the bonus is a way to get those freebies with the time stopped, and you've worked your way back to trailing only by 1 here in this one.
So here's Megan Horn, the 5'11" first year from Basking Ridge, New Jersey. School record holder for points and three-pointers made at the Pingree School, averaging 7.3 points, 7 rebounds. So far in her college career, she sinks the first of her 2 foul shots with 30.8 seconds to play. And that ties the score at 13. Kayla Kinsler and Renee Alkiza back in for the Maroons. Shot clock will be on here. 0.8 seconds difference, but essentially the Maroons can melt this down for the final attempt. We'll get the basketball after Horn hits the second free throw to put the Generals in front, 14-13. First lead for Washington and Lee. And they pick up pressure and a kickball as Megan Wheeler is trying to get it back to Alkiza. Maroons looking shaky without Hassel on the floor against the press. They just do get it over in time. And now Kinsler has a look down low, and she finishes. Great bounce pass from Wheeler.
Good cut to the basket.
Roanoke up 15-14, 10 seconds left in the period. Casey down the paint, bounce pass to Smithy. 5 to go. Smithy hands to Casey, left side, 3 is good with just 1 second to play. Taylor Casey scored 27 without hitting a single 3 against Franklin and Marshall. She's already knocked down 3 triples in the opening period here, and that one puts Washington and Lee up 17-15 after 10. We'll take a short timeout and come back with second quarter action. You're listening to Generals Basketball on WLUR and WLUR All Access.
In 50 feet, turn left. Why are you driving so slowly?
After a few drinks, I'm taking it slow.
Well, you're not fooling the cop behind you.
What?
Get ready to pay in 0.1 miles.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Washington and Lee 17, Roanoke 15 after 10 minutes of action here in Salem tonight. WNL, a very slow start from the field, but then Taylor Casey starting to heat up down the stretch. She had 11 points, including 3 of 5 shooting from three-point range. And Tyler, we were talking about all the key losses for the Generals, Persick, Kelly, and Redding, along with Andrea Ferrero, who was injured most of last season, that senior class, and then Katie Pomp, the ODAC Rookie of the Year, no longer on the team as well. So you turn to a player like Taylor Casey, a proven scorer, and so far it's early in her junior season, but she has answered that call.
Well, a word you used earlier was different. Different isn't always bad. Different has proven to be well here for the Generals. Casey's really stepped up into that role to be the leading scorer. And really here as of late, we saw the Generals go to inside-out basketball there, try to get it inside to Smithy, kick it out to Casey for open looks.
Roanoke gets possession to start the second quarter. On the floor for the Maroons are Kinsler, Alkiza, Alexander, Scarborough, and Wheeler. Kinsler has it out front, 14 to shoot, pulls up left elbow, short on the jumper, rebound batted around but secured by Smithy. But then she turns it over. Try the outlet pass to Jordan Deal, and the ball goes out of bounds. 6th turnover for Washington and Lee. So it's Smithy, Deal, Hughes, Carandi, and Casey right now for Washington and Lee. Kinsler wing right side for the Maroons. Inside to Alkiza, 2 Generals defending her. And Alkiza will hand it off to Ayanna Scarborough. Scarborough back to Alkiza, deep right corner. Shot fake, pulls up, 10-footer, no. And the long rebound to Deal. And she'll ship it ahead to Casey. No numbers here, and Casey will settle. It's Deal out front. Comes around to Smithy's screen. Dishes off to Carandi in the corner. Carandi bounces it away to Aaron Hughes. Now across to Casey. 13 to shoot. Casey feeds Smithy at the foul line. Smithy driving in, spin move, pulls up, short jumper, no. Alkiza with the rebound. And a long outlet from Wheeler ahead to Scarborough. Scarborough looked like a good play on the basketball there by Jordan Deal, but she's called for the foul as she reached in.
You can see Deal's reaction here on the floor. She thought she took that ball away cleanly as well.
First personal on Jordan Deal, and of course team fouls reset in the second and fourth periods. So just an out-of-bounds play for the Maroons with 8:47 to go. Still 17-15 Washington and Lee. Molly Hassel back in for the Maroons. Step back 3 left side is good. Molly Hassel on the board. And the Maroons back in front 18-17. One of the elite shooters in this conference. Groninger, baseline right side. Air mails a 12-footer, but it goes right to Jordan Deal. Alkiza blocks her putback. Deal gets it back, feeds Groninger. She airballs another mid-range jumper, and again Deal is there. Shot clock has not reset for the Generals. It's at 7. Groninger out front to Deal. Away to Casey. Space on the left side. That 3-ball off target, though. And the rebound to Harrell. And ahead to Hassel as the Maroons have it up by 1. Top of the arc to Harrell. Away to Maxwell. Left side, Kayla Kinsler. Kinsler hits Maxwell on the cut. Way too strong on the layup, though. Everything but the finish there for Roanoke. Here comes Smithy. 7:49 to play. First half. Generals down 1. Aaron Hughes in the left side corner. Away to Casey. Left wing 3. Good. A 4th connection from deep for Taylor Casey. And that'll put Washington and Lee in front 20-18. At the other end, Hassel up the wing to Harrell. Guarded by Casey. Away to Alkiza, high post. Ball knocked away by Smithy. Grabbed by Hughes. Ahead to Casey. Pass was behind her. That'll slow down the Generals' fast break. Instead, Casey gets it up top to Deal. Away to Smithy. Right side to Hughes. Hughes, skip pass. Groninger inside Deal. Back to Groninger. Left corner 3 is up. That rims out, and Maxwell grabs the carry. And the Maroons on the break here. Hassel away to Harrell, deep right corner. Driving baseline, hits the cutting Maxwell. Maxwell gets caught in traffic. Looked like she traveled, no whistle. Kick out to Alkiza. Way off target on a left elbow jumper. Maxwell grabs the ball. Has her shot attempt blocked. Out of bounds with 15 on the possession clock. Could have heard about 5 whistles on that possession. Instead, we heard none until the ball went out.
There's just a lot going on right there, but nothing called.
Inbounds to Hassel. Inside, Maxwell posting up on Hughes. Feedback out to Hassel. Launches the contested 3. That is short, and a good box out and board for Hughes. 6:36 to play first half. Here comes Taylor Casey down the lane. Casey's runner is up and good. She's got 16, and the Generals lead by 4. Molly Hassel up top for Kayla Kinsler. Kinsler right wing to Harrell. And we have a foul away from the basketball against Washington and Lee. It's going against Jordan Deal. That'll be her second.
Have to begin to wonder if the Maroons will switch defensively and see if we see a double team being placed on Taylor Casey.
Coming off the 27-point effort against F&M. 16 more in the first half tonight. Still better than 6 minutes to play. She'll get a breather right now. Aaron Addison's back in. Megan Horner places Deal. Here's Christina Harrell, wing left side for the Maroons. Inside to Alexander on the post up, but cut off by Hughes, and the feed comes back out. And now attacking the basket, but traveling is Allison Livengood, trying to split a double team called for steps.
We're seeing 2 different brands of basketball here in this one. Maroons really trying to get it into the paint. A lot of 3-pointers for the Generals.
They've hit 4 of them. Actually, Taylor Casey has hit 4 of them. There's one from somebody else. That's Megan Horn bearing a tray from the right wing. And a 7-point Washington and Lee advantage. Biggest lead so far tonight for the Generals. 25-18, 5:37 to play in the second period. Harrell on the right wing. Karandi reaches in and takes the ball away and then gets fouled. Andy Karandi is not going to score a lot of points for you, but she's going to do just about everything else. Rebound, defend, pass the ball.
Well, Karandi saw Harrell there just to dribble a little too far out in front, saw the opportunity, reached in, came away with a clean steal, and then drew the foul.
We're going to hear from Andy Karandi coming up in the WLUR halftime conversation. Generals up 7, 5:25 to go. Aaron Addison on the right side. Addison hands off to Groninger, ready to shoot top of the key, and she knocks down a 3. 6 of them have fallen for the Generals, who were 1 of 21 at Franklin Marshall on Sunday. A 10-point lead at the other end. Kinsler away to Hassel. Around the horn it comes to Whitney Hobson on the left side. Hobson takes it to the foul line and keeps going after picking up her dribble. That's traveling. Aaron Hughes making the defensive play.
Good job there by Hughes, as again they're just trying to drive into the paint. Numerous travels we've seen called on the Maroons now.
Washington and Lee has opened up a 10-point lead. We got a timeout on the court, 4:59 to play in the second period. You're listening to Generals basketball on WLUR and WLUR All Access, powered by First Team Broadcasting.
Hi everyone, I'm Kristen Bell, and I invited you here to my hotel room to talk about your cheeks. Your big, beautiful cheeks. Get your mind out of the gutter. I'm talking about swabbing them. Did you guys know that each year 20,000 Americans with blood cancer are searching for their life-saving marrow match? So here's how we can help. It's really, really simple. All you have to do is swab your cheek. This cheek. Then go to giftoflife.org and request a free kit so that you can swab a cheek and save a life.
When you went car shopping, you meant business. You aced vehicle history searches and test drives. You out-salesmaned the salesman. Now you've got your wheels. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. With 401k tips and smart saving strategies, you'll have the info you need to get more for your future. Go to aceyourretirement.org, because when it comes to speeding past financial challenges, you're an ace. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Back to live action here, just inside of 5 minutes to play in the second period, and Washington and Lee up by 10. Missed 3 ball for Megan Horn, but an offensive rebound for the Generals, and I believe a Roanoke foul. There is indeed a whistle against Molly Hassel, her first. That 3 missed, Tyler, for the Generals, but they've been raining triples in the last few minutes.
Well, and it really all started by an inside-out brand of basketball. When Maxwell was off the floor for the Maroons, they really tried to get it in to Smithy, kick it out, and that's really when the 3 started to fall.
Aaron Hughes at the line, so that was a shooting foul. The first one is up and good. The Generals 5 of 5 at the foul line. Again, 88.5% as a team through the first 3 games. They've been shooting a lot of free throws as well. And the win against F&M alone, 25 of 28. Hughes knocks the second one down. And the Generals up 30-18 in the middle of a 16-3 run. Molly Hassel just about lost the ball against Casey and Addison. Now she flips it inside to Alexander. Comes right wing. Kinsler is open for 3. That's no good. And Aaron Hughes with another textbook box out for the rebound. Comes Addison ahead to Casey. Fakes the 3. Drives baseline. No one stops the basketball. And Casey lays it up and in.
Well, Casey taking advantage there of shooting a lot of threes. They expect her to do that. Good job there driving to the basket.
Megan Horn jumping the passing lane just across midcourt. Stepped out of bounds with the ball, so Roanoke will keep it. 4:14 to play. The Generals up 32-18. An extended scoring run of 18-3 in the Generals' favor. Hassel, left side to Hobson. Hobson around the Maxwell screen. Now away to Kinsler, right side to Harrell, who's back in, playing with 2 fouls. Cross to Hobson, 12 to shoot, 4 minutes left in the half. Skip pass to Kinsler, right corner 3 is on the way. That's no good. Rebound knocked away from Maxwell, but comes right to Hobson. And the Maroons can reset with a new shot clock. Kinsler, around the wing it comes. Harrell gets it deep left corner. Bounce pass back out to Kayla Kinsler. Kinsler, floater, left elbow, that won't go. And the rebound to Megan Horn. Now nothing falling at all for the Maroons. Long outlet to Casey. Nothing there in transition. She'll kick it out to Addison. Addison drives the lane. Floater good. Off the glass for Erin Addison. And it's a 16-point lead. 3:19 left in the second quarter. Aaron Hughes rejecting Harrell's entry pass right back to her. Now it comes to Molly Hassel. Away to Hobson. Backing out against Casey. Bounce pass right side to Hassel. Hassel, entry pass thrown right to Megan Horn, but she gives it away. Lost the handle. It goes to Hobson. Her runner is off the back iron and good. Unsettled, and the Maroons finally get a basket to break the Generals' run. It's 34-20 with 2:55 to play in the second quarter. The Generals, the shots are falling at the other end, though. Washington and Lee swarming all over the place on defense.
Well, the Generals have forced the Maroons to start taking more jump shots, and has led to that change of pace a little bit. The Maroons were successful early on when they were getting good backdoor cuts to the basket, leading to layups, and when they've had to start settling for jumpers, they've just not been able to get them to fall.
Roanoke now 9 of 31 from the field. The Generals, after a very slow start, up to 11 of 29, 6 of 16 from 3, but probably 6 out of their last 9 or 10 have gone in. Karandi, Addison, Casey, Horn, and Hughes for the Generals. The Maroons will send out Maxwell, Harrell, Hassel, Hobson, and Ayanna Scarborough. 2:55 left, second quarter. W&L up 34-20. Kodak opener for the Generals' second conference game for the Maroons. They lost by 5 at Guilford. Casey left side. Looks like a matchup zone now for Roanoke. Kind of a 3-2 look. Here's Horn on the attack. Swings to Carandy in the corner. Inside Hughes, the short jumper good over the 6'1 Maxwell. Aaron Hughes has 6, and the lead right back to 16. Hassel on the wing against Addison, such a pesky defender. Away to Harrell, bounce pass to Maxwell, right baseline, back to Hassel. Ready to shoot, 3-ball up, nothing but net for Molly Hassel. That's her second hit from long range. She's made at least 2 threes in all 5 games now for the Maroons this season. 13-point margin, Hughes on the cut. Hughes slings it to Casey, right corner 3, up, good, nothing but net for Taylor Casey. That's her 5th make from downtown. 21 points already for the junior from Brentwood, Tennessee. Scarborough baseline drive at the other end, but she misses the short J. And here comes Carandy with the Generals up 39-23. Another for Casey, right wing. It's good.
Heat check there for Taylor Casey. Still got the hot hand.
19-point Generals advantage. Taylor Casey has drained 6 3-balls and has 24 points. Scarborough left side, inside Maxwell posting up, gets fouled by Megan Horn. Free throws coming for the Maroons. That'll be the second on Horn. Victoria Maxwell to the line for Roanoke. Andy Carandy is the lone senior for the Generals. Victoria Maxwell has that designation for the Maroons. She had double-doubles in both games against Washington and Lee last season. And misses the first free throw here. Horn will sit with 2 fouls. Hughes also exits. Groninger and Smithy back in. 19-point margin, 1:27 to play, second period. Maxwell gets the second to go. That's her 3rd point tonight to make it 42-24. And she will sit Asia Alexander back in. Here comes Erin Addison. Fine number 20 if you're the Maroons. Here's Casey out front. Hassel up on her this time. Away to Smithy, back to Groninger. Groninger around a pick from Smithy. Wanted the pick and roll. Now Smithy gets it. Double team got there. Smithy muscles it up and in anyway. First field goal for Smithy. 20-point Generals lead as we hit the final minute of the first half here in Salem. Hassel, left side, Harrell knocked away by Carandy. Trying to track it down to midcourt. It goes out of bounds. But the Generals again disrupting the Roanoke offense.
Good job as of late getting in those passing lanes.
55 seconds left. Hobson for the Maroons. Left side to Harrell. Carandy swatting at the basketball. Harrell secures it and lobs it over to Scarborough, who launches the 3. That's an air ball way short. And the loose ball tracked down by Addison. And then a foul on the Maroons as the Generals were trying to run it up the floor. Maybe some frustration there for Scarborough after the miss. Just a 3rd team foul, so no shots. Generals have it up by 20, 40.8 seconds to go. Jogged across by Addison. Groninger wing right side, out front to Casey. Set the double screen, but Hassel fought through it. Casey will give it up to Addison. Now away to Casey, nope, turnover. Tried to find her, and the ball went right to Harrell instead. Maroons have it, 20 seconds to go. They can really use a basket here. Molly Hassel on the left wing. Picks up her bounce, gets it across to Harrell. 12 to go. Here's Hobson. Working out front against Groninger. Now on the attack. Hobson leaning layup way off target. And the ball deflects out of bounds. No one touched it, so the Generals have it. 4.4 seconds to go. Casey will inbound to Addison. 3, 2, 1. Addison pulls up, 28-footer. Well, she's calling for traveling before the shot, and now they'll just say the half is over. So the Generals not able to score in the final seconds, but what a shooting display, Tyler, especially from Taylor Casey. 6 of 9 from 3, 9 of 12 from the field. She's got 24 points, and the Generals up by 20 at the break.
Well, those other 3 makes get lost in the mix with those 6 3-pointers, but they had to start respecting her from downtown, and it let her be able to drive into the paint. A couple of nice floaters, getting those to fall as well for Casey in this one.
Once again, our halftime score, Washington and Lee 44, Roanoke 24. When we come back, I visit with senior captain Andy Carandy. You're listening to Generals Basketball on WLUR and WLUR All Access, powered by First Team Broadcasting.
180 over 111, and I had a stroke.
145 over 92, and then I had a heart attack.
150 over 90, and I had a stroke.
This is what high blood pressure sounds like. You might not feel its symptoms, but the results from a heart attack or stroke are far from silent. Get back on your treatment plan or talk with your doctor to create a plan that works for you. Go to loweryourhbp.org.
Everything's changed.
Brought to you by the American Heart Association, American Medical Association, and the Ad Council.
Come on, smile. Oh, honey, he's still not smiling.
Maybe he's not a smiler.
Yeah, maybe he's just not a happy baby.
Maybe he's just being a boy.
Or maybe he's teething.
Maybe it's just a phase.
Maybe he has autism, and we can definitely do something to help.
Maybe is all you need to find out more about autism. No big, joyful smiles by 6 months is one early sign. Learn the others at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
My name is Lola Silvestri, and I'm going to be 95 this year. I was very independent. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Washington and Lee leading Roanoke 44-24 halftime here in Salem tonight. Right before the Generals headed up to Maryland to open the season against Stevenson, I had the chance to visit with Washington and Lee senior captain and member of the all-time great name team, Andy Carandi. Time now for the WLUR halftime conversation. Well, Jeremy Franklin joined now by Andy Carandi, senior captain from the WNL women's basketball team. Andy, thanks for joining me here.
Of course.
The Generals field a very young roster in 2018-19. You're one of 5 returning players, and that group is outnumbered by 6 first-years. How have things been going as you integrate so many new people into the program?
Yeah, it's different. I think that the freshmen are really catching on really well. They're extremely good listeners and I think they've grown a lot since the beginning of the season. The hardest part out of all that was just kind of bringing them in and teaching them exactly what WNL women's basketball represents. But they've been really responsive, which is tough, but I'm really happy about it.
You're the only senior on the WNL roster. How are you approaching your leadership role?
I have experience under my belt. Been on 2 teams here, so I've seen what's worked. I've seen what hasn't worked. I think that as a senior, it comes with this sort of desperation when you're playing. You know, this is my first game tomorrow, so I want to make it important. And it's a feeling that you don't really experience until you're a senior. So I'm trying to bring that, 1, consistency because I have experience, and 2, I'm trying to just bring, that desperation that we need. Like, give everything that you have when you're on the court, and that's what I'm trying to do this year.
So you mentioned that you've been a part of 2 different teams at Washington and Lee. You did not play basketball during your rookie season. You joined the lacrosse team and then came back to hoops for the past 3 years. Just talk a little bit about your route to becoming a senior captain, because it's not, I guess, the most traditional way to do that.
Not traditional at all. When I came back sophomore year, I wouldn't think that I'd be in the place that I was right now. I had a lot of bridges to put back together, a lot of trust to get back from a lot of people, but I just think that the number one thing that I love about this team is just the trust and how quickly you can trust somebody and how much faith we have in each other. And because of that faith, I'm in the position that I am, and I've come from not playing to being the only senior year, and it's been an incredible journey, and I'm beyond thankful for it.
Just want to talk about what you bring to the court. You've never been a big scorer for Washington and Lee, but you do a lot of other things for the Generals. In particular, you're one of the better rebounding guards I've seen in many years of covering this program. How do you approach your role on the floor?
I'm not a scorer, never have been a scorer. I get motivated by the smallest things. When somebody else boxes somebody out and gets a foul, like an offensive foul on the other team, I think that I'm more excited than if someone made a half-court shot. I love the little things. I think that it takes a lot more discipline to box out every single time and get boards and crash and make good passes and play really good defense. I think that's far harder than making a shot. So I respect the people who do that. I think that's awesome. I've never been motivated by that. So I like to perform in the ways that I can control, which is just why I've always been concentrated on the little things more like that.
What games on the schedule are you most looking forward to this season?
Oh, I always look forward to E&H. I don't know why. I think it's just the fact that every single time last year we came out with some fire and lost it in one quarter and couldn't come back. There's a lot of girls on that team that I would love to see again. I'm also excited for the tournament at NYU because we had 2 tough losses. It was when we played Stevenson and NYU last year. I would love to see all that happen again. Those are the only 2 that I can really think of right now.
So you don't just have a lot of first-year players, but you're going to play a lot of first-year players. Coach Clancy has said that 2 to 4 of them may start on any given night, and that probably means some growing pains somewhere along the line as they adapt to college basketball. How do you keep people's spirits up, keep them motivated, even if you do lose a couple of games early on?
That's kind of tough. I guess, like I said, I'm all about consistency. I don't really have as much ebb and flow as a lot of the freshmen are going to have, but I think the positive part of that is if some of them are in their, they're having a bad game or they're struggling or they're in their heads or they're in foul trouble, there's a lot of people on the team who can just fill in for them and be that consistent person who doesn't have as many drops in their game. I do think that we may see some times this year where we're going to lose games just because of experience, and there's nothing you can do about that. But what I love about this team is that everyone's so resilient. If we have a bad practice or even if we have a bad drill in practice, the next drill could be the best drill that we've played all season. So I think that our inconsistency might come to an advantage at some points, and the fact that we have some experience is going to help when it's not an advantage.
What are your expectations for the Generals this season?
I want to be a team that is going to fight until the last buzzer goes off. We've said that every year, but I've seen a lot of girls who are coming in who have more heart than a lot of people that I've played with before, and that's the number one thing that I think should be a goal. Play till the end. When you're on the court, you're taking someone else's minutes. So you need to give everything you have or you're being selfish. That's the kind of attitude that we're talking about. We're also trying to open up communication more. If I pass to you and it's a bad pass, don't just pretend like it didn't happen. Come up to me, tell me how it's going to work next time. It doesn't matter if you're a freshman and I'm a senior. That's how we're going to make each other better. And we're trying to create an environment to where the freshmen don't feel like freshmen. And that's one of the main goals of this season is just creating this team dynamic that we haven't really had yet.
Hi, I found a toy dinosaur over on the playground by Smith Street. It had this phone number on it, and, well, I just wanted to make sure the dinosaur made it back to its little owner.
When I found the little sippy cup, I just had to give you a call. It's for a kid,
I know my son gets super attached to the smallest things, even a fire truck, and I'd be happy to drop it off.
We'd do anything for kids, yet 1 in 6 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Well, thanks to Andy Carandi for sitting down with me in the WLUR studio. Good first half for Carandi and the Generals. They lead Roanoke 44-24 as we're about 5 minutes away from second half action here at the Kreger Center. Dominant second quarter for Washington and Lee. Jeremy Franklin, Tyler Helms with you, and Tyler, 27-9. That's the scoring margin in favor of the Generals in the second quarter. Taylor Casey reining in 3. She had 6 of them in the first half, had 24 points across the first 2 periods. But several other players got involved in the action as well.
Well, Casey certainly has to be respected, and the Maroons know that. But then those other players are getting involved as well for the Generals. Aaron Hughes, 2 for 4 in the game. And while they're not making shots, I like seeing the first years not being afraid to shoot the ball. Megan Horn just 1 of 7, Groniger 1 of 4, but Groniger made her last shot attempt that she took. And so seeing those first years getting involved as well.
Generals shot 45.5% from the field, but they were 10 of 17 in the second quarter, including 5 of 8 from 3. Casey's line, 9 of 12 from the field, 6 of 9 from 3. Hasn't taken a free throw yet after she went 13 of 14 at the foul line against Franklin and Marshall on Sunday.
Well, just doing a great job there as well. Casey, 9 for 12 in the game. And you look at it, the amount of points, you're averaging more than a point a minute at this point. That's something that's almost unheard of.
Rest of the Generals' numbers here. Aaron Hughes, 6 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists off the bench. Megan Horn finished with 5 points and 3 boards, 4 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists for Andy Smithy. The one made 3 for Kate Groninger, 2 points for Aaron Addison, 3 rebounds, an assist and a steal for Andy Corandi. No points, but 6 rebounds for Jordan Deal. The Maroons, 3 of 15 from the field in the second quarter. They were 10 of 35 for the half. 3 of 8 from 3, just 1 of 3 at the foul line. 6 points, 5 rebounds for Christina Harrell, 6 points on a couple of 8 threes for Molly Hassel, 5 points for Kayla Kinsler, 3 points, 4 rebounds for Victoria Maxwell, 2 points apiece for Asia Alexander and Whitney Hobson. Maroons missed some jump shots, but the Generals, I thought, were excellent defensively, especially in the second period. They made Roanoke take a lot of difficult shots.
Well, more contested shots, good open looks, really attacking the basket. And of those makes early, Harrell was out in front on breakaways for 2 layups, leading to 2 of those 10 made shot attempts. So it really jumps off on paper to me is that the Maroons are 10 of 35 after starting 5 for 12 from the floor. You look at the other side, the Generals started this game 2 of 11 from the floor. Now they're 15 for 33 at the half.
And thus a 20-point lead for Washington and Lee. A few other ODAC scores to pass along. Southern Virginia beating Eastern Mennonite 75-70. Ferrum about to finish off what is now a non-conference game for the Panthers against former USA South rival Averett, 73-66 with 28 seconds to go. Another ODAC USA South matchup, Virginia Wesleyan leads North Carolina Wesleyan 46-30 in the third. It's Mary Washington 29, Lynchburg 22 at the half. Marymount, 16th ranked Saints on top of a 3-0 Shenandoah team 25-11 after one. Guilford leading Salem 31-19 at the half. And at the break, it's Methodist 27 and Randolph 24. And again, keep an eye on a game that's tipping off in about 10 minutes up at Bridgewater, where the 3-0 Eagles take on Kelly Williams and the defending ODAC champion Randolph-Macon Yellow Jackets. Our score here in Salem, the Generals 44, Roanoke 24. Second half action comes your way. After this short break, you're listening to Generals basketball on WLUR and WLUR All Access.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable, but how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
You're not wired to have a response to this sound. You're neutral to it, and you can hear it repeatedly without feeling anything. But when we introduce a new stimulus, save the food, we've achieved pulling a natural or inborn response from you. Save the food, because 40% of all food in the US never gets eaten. Save the food. Cook it, store it, share it. Just don't waste it. For tips and recipes, visit savethefood.com. Brought to you by NRDC and the Ad Council.
You wanted to be a teacher when you were little, but as you grew up, things changed. Teaching just didn't seem like the best option anymore, so you decided to become something else. But what would your 12-year-old self say? Interesting and innovative things are happening in teaching today, so it's time to put it back on your list. Don't try to convince yourself otherwise. You had it right the first time.
Find out how you can make more at teach.org. Make more. Teach. Brought to you by Teach and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the Kreger Center in Salem. Jeremy Franklin alongside Tyler Helms for our coverage of Generals basketball. Washington and Lee up by 20 as we begin the second half. We talk about the hot shooting for the Generals and the cold shooting for Roanoke. WNL a big advantage, but part of that is what the Generals have done on the glass. You mentioned pregame that Roanoke actually had the edge in terms of rebounding margin. Not tonight. Washington and Lee is +8 on the glass, so there aren't a lot of those second chances for the Maroons.
Well, and that's been key here as well. More defensive rebounds, 19 for the Generals, than total rebounds, 18 for the Maroons.
WNL basketball to begin the third quarter. They go left to right in the second half, starting 5. Groninger, Deal, Horn, Casey, and Smithy. Megan Horn gets a deep left corner for the Generals. Dribbling out to the wing, now feeds Smithy inside, back to the basket, hits the cutting Casey, layup short. And the rebound of Molly Hassel. It's Hassel, Kinsler, Maxwell, Alquiza, and Harrell. So Carla Flaherty going with her starters as well. Harrell, bounce pass away to Maxwell. Wing right side to Hassel. See if the Maroons can make a dent in the Generals' lead early in this second half. Ball comes inside to Alkiza, and she travels trying to post up on Horn.
Maroons come out here in the second half, maybe try to use a little bit of their size advantage early on.
It's the 9th Roanoke turnover. Each team gave it away 8 times in the first half, so that wasn't really a big factor. Here's Smithy on the post up, trying to drive around Maxwell, who kind of threw out the hip a little bit. Not a ton of contact, but Smithy gets the call, and that'll be the second personal on Victoria Maxwell. Generals take it out of bounds. Comes in to the corner to Horn, back out to Groninger. Groninger around the pick from Smithy, right side to Deal. Deal on the drive. Floater is up from the low blocks. No. Smithy battling for the rebound. She ties up Kayla Kinsler, and Roanoke will get it on the alternating possession. So neither team putting any points on the board in the opening minute of the third. Still 44-24 WNL. Hassel between the circles for the Maroons. Comes around the screen from Alkiza. Left side pass to Kinsler. Kinsler back to Hassel. Left corner three is on its way and good. Molly Hassel with her third from long range tonight. So the Maroons on the board first in the second half. Still a 44-27 Generals advantage. Smithy hands off left side to Casey. Casey lobs it out front to Groninger. Groninger, couple of dribbles, now away to Megan Horn. Horn gets into the lane, hands to Smithy. Left wing Casey, deep three, too strong that time. The long rebound batted around, and it ends up in the hands of Smithy. She'll pull up, great pass to the cutting Jordan Deal, who lays it up and in.
Deal, great backdoor cut right there, wide open. Smithy just has to lay it off.
First points tonight for Deal, 46-27. As the Generals crash the offensive glass. Here's Harrell, pulls up left elbow, wide open, but misfires on the jumper. Smithy boxing out Maxwell for the rebound. Outlet to Groninger, no numbers here. Groninger takes it down the lane, though, goes to the left hand and scores. That was 1-on-2, and she made it look easy. 48-27, Groninger with 5. And at the other end, Hassel around the pick for Maxwell. Dribbles right side, left open for a moment. Misses the three ball. Maxwell with the offensive rebound, though, the stick back up and good, and she's fouled.
Maxwell in good position right there. Just boxes out well against two defenders of the Generals. Still able to come away with the offensive board and get the second chance points.
3-point play chance for Victoria Maxwell. 7:30 to play third quarter. And the Generals up 19 pending the foul shot. Maxwell 1 of 2 at the line. Did I make it 2 of 3? She's got 6, and it's 48-30. The foul was on Kate Groninger. That's her second. Here's Smithy at the foul line. Away to Jordan Deal on the left wing. Feeds Groninger on the baseline. Groninger looking for the cutting. Deal throws it right to Molly Hassel instead. Maroons run. Head to Hobson. Nothing in transition. And Casey finds the shooter on the break. That's Hassel. Has to work it inside to Alexander with a nice post up and a bucket for Asia Alexander. And the Maroons trying to chip away at the lead. It's down to 16. Just inside of 7 minutes left in the period. Jordan Deal attacking top of the key, running layup. No, trying to get a whistle. Maxwell just stood her ground. At the other end, Christina Harrell attacks. The driving layup, no, but she's fouled, and I believe that's going to be number 3 on Kate Groninger.
Well, the Maroons have come out here in the second half the same way they did in the opening minutes of this game, really trying to drive, attack the basket. If it's not there, post up and use that size advantage.
Christina Harrell, 6 points tonight. They all came in the first period. Sophomore from Clinton, New Jersey. First foul shot on its way and good. Scored in double figures in 3 of the first 4 games for the Maroons this season. Started every single game. As a first year in 2017-18, averaged just over 8 points and 4 rebounds. She can pull the Maroons to within 14 here, 6:46 to play in the third. Second foul shot, no good. And a battle for the rebound, and Harrell ends up getting a piece of it. It deflected back to her, but on the held ball whistle, it will go back to Washington and Lee. 48-33. And we've got a timeout on the court. We'll keep it here. 6:44 to play here in the third. A lot of energy from the Maroons. A long way to go, but you can't think about erasing a 20-point deficit in 2 minutes. You've got to get back into this game in fits and spurts.
Well, they come out of the locker room here in the second half, and it must have been discussed there, hey, girls, get back to what you were doing early on when you were being successful, because that's exactly what the Maroons have done coming out to start this second half. And it really has started with Harold trying to drive, get into the lane. If it's not there, drop it off, whether it be to Maxwell or Scarborough or whoever the big is at the moment, Alexander, in the paint there.
I think the challenge now for Christine Clancy is to have her team match the energy we're seeing from the other side.
Well, I think it really gets back to, we haven't seen Taylor Casey attempt many shots here in this third quarter. Try to get the ball back into her hands, feed that hot hand, and if it's not there, don't be afraid to go back to Andy Smithy inside and maybe just try to counter exactly the same way that the Maroons have here in this third quarter and play that inside-out brand of basketball that worked well for you there in a stretch in the second quarter.
Roanoke has hit 3 of its first 5 shots from the field, also 2 of 3 at the foul line. So the Generals still up by 15. Andy Carandi and Aaron Hughes have come in. They play with Casey, Horn, and Deal. Garniger on the bench right now with 3 fouls. Here's Casey on the left side, guarded by Megan Wheeler. Bounce pass to the cutter. That is Horn, who has her shot swatted at the rim by Alexander. Ahead comes Hassel. Now to Wheeler. Beg your pardon, Harrell. Back out to Wheeler. Now Maxwell trying to drive in. Player control through the shoulder right into Andy Carandi. That's at least the second charge that Carandi has drawn in this game.
Well, you mentioned Carandi's not going to get you a lot of points, but she does a lot of the small things well.
I believe that's number 3 on Maxwell. They announced 2 on the PA. Have to check on that. Could be some foul trouble. And indeed, I think it is 3. Allison Livengood is coming to the scores table for Roanoke. Generals up 15, 6:08 to play in the third. Aaron Hughes on the drive, pulls up down low, and she's called for an offensive foul. It's the help defender, Megan Wheeler at 5'5", who got underneath, staying outside the restricted area to draw the charge.
Well, the Generals here in this third quarter not shooting a lot of three-point attempts. They're trying to go blow for blow, attacking the basket with the Maroons, and they've not been successful thus far in this quarter.
48-33, 6:05 left. Livengood has replaced Maxwell, sitting with the 3 personals. Brought ahead by Hassel. Right side pass to Harrell. Harrell around to Alexander, now Wheeler on the left wing. And we've got a foul away for the basketball against the Generals. That's going to be on Megan Horn. That will be her 3rd. And already 4 team fouls on Washington and Lee, so the next one puts the Maroons in the bonus. Still 5:49 left in the quarter. Horn will play with 3. Deal exits Addison back in. Ball lobbed in out front to Wheeler. Left side, Harrell lost it, got it back, and then dribbled it out of bounds. Unforced error that time. Casey was in the vicinity, but not really pressuring. See if the Generals can take advantage. Horn on the left wing. Horn driving baseline against Alexander. Steps back out. Gives it away to Hughes. Hughes to the right elbow. Flips it off to Casey. Casey down the lane. Floater is up. And now a charge has been called. Did Casey release the basketball before the foul? Evidently not.
Maroons doing a good job switching a lot of defenders late there and setting their feet, getting into position at the last possible second.
Thought the shot might have counted, that the contact might have come after the release. Evidently that was not the case. First foul on Casey, with a turnover on the offensive whistle, and the Maroons cash in. Great lob inside to Alexander, who slips her defender and lays it in. Roanoke within 13. Horn on the right side, away to Hughes in the high post. Hughes driving it against Livengood, pulls up and banks in the layup. More control that time for Hughes. A much-needed bucket for the Generals. They lead it 50-35. Wheeler pops the 3 at the other, and that's no good. Alexander just out-jumps Carandi for the rebound. Feeds out to Molly Hassel, but then she travels. And we've got another timeout on the court. We'll step aside. 4:41 to play, third quarter. Generals up by 15 here in Salem.
180 over 111, and I had a stroke.
145 over 92, and then I had a heart attack.
150 over 90, and I had a stroke.
This is what high blood pressure sounds like. You might not feel its symptoms, but the results from a heart attack or stroke are far from silent. Get back on your treatment plan or talk with your doctor to create a plan that works for you. Go to loweryourhbp.org.
Everything's changed.
Brought to you by the American Heart Association, American Medical Association, and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Generals Basketball on WLUR All Access and WLUR Lexington 91.5 FM. Jeremy Franklin, Tyler Helms with you at the Kreger Center in Salem. Under 5 timeout here in the third period. Washington in the lead, which led by 20 at the break, currently ahead by 15, 50-35. Generals maybe, we'll see what happens in the next couple of minutes, maybe have withstood that early surge from Roanoke as the lead is still a pretty comfortable margin right now.
Well, anytime it looked like the Maroons might get going on an extended run, the Generals have at least been able to put a shot in the basket every so often, as it was Hughes that last time, drives past 2 defenders, and just getting a basket every so often to prevent that large run.
Aaron Addison for the Generals away to Jordan Deal. Kate Groniger back in with 3 fouls. Back across to Deal. Groniger again between the circles. Groniger, left side. Addison launches the 3. That's good. Aaron Addison joins the three-point party. That's the first make for the Generals from long range this half after they knocked down 8 in the first 2 quarters. Back to an 18-point lead. Wheeler on the right side around a screen. Pulls up at the elbow. Jump shot good. 53-37, first points of the night for Wheeler, the sophomore from Jaffrey, New Hampshire. Groniger away to Deal, left corner, Karandi. Karandi, bounce pass inside, Hughes trying to post up live and good. Dish for Groniger, knocked away by Harrell. Racing our way trying to save it, couldn't quite get there in time, so the Generals will keep it with his shot clock at 14. Game clock at 3:51, and Washington and Lee up 53-37. Ball comes into Deal. Deal, left side, Addison. Works to the baseline to Karandi. Karandi hands off to Addison. Addison driving baseline. Looking to force that one up in traffic, and the ball just goes out of bounds off the body of Addison. So the Maroons have it down by 16. Molly Hassel, left side to Wheeler. One dribble back to Hassel, launching the left corner 3. Good, over top of Aaron Hughes.
Well, the Generals didn't have much success in that left corner in the opening half. Molly Hassel has here in this second one.
4 trays tonight for Hassel. 53-40. 3:13 to play here in the third. Hughes away to Jordan Deal on the left side. Feeds to the baseline to Karandi. Karandi inside for Hughes, knocked away. Hughes got it back. Hughes in trouble, though, and now a reach-in foul. The Generals really got bailed out that time. It's going to be on Wheeler, her second. Just the third team foul. It'll reset the 30-second clock for Washington and Lee. Maybe more significantly, it allows Taylor Casey to get back on the floor. Has not scored in this third quarter after she poured in 24 in the first half. Andy Smithy back in as well, playing with Deal, Groniger, and Addison. Wheeler, Hassel, Harrell, live and good, and Alexander for the Maroons. Addison on the attack, and she's fouled on the drive before the kick out to Casey, who is spotting up for 3.
Addison's done a really good job here in this third quarter, getting into the paint and whether attacking the basket or kicking the ball back out.
Foul is the second on Molly Hassel. Deal inbounding to Addison, low blocks. Addison dribbles into trouble and turns it over. Picked up by Harrell, but then she throws it off the back of Live and Good, and Addison has it right back. Quick exchange of turnovers. Now Casey, wing left side. Casey driving in, layup, good. So now Casey's on the board in the second half. Generals back up by 15. Harrell attacking at the other end, the runner in the paint, no. Rebound knocked away from her as Harrell tumbles to the ground. And the Generals have control. 2:23 left in the period. Casey, left side to Groniger. Groniger out front to Addison, away to Deal on the wing. 12 to shoot. Deal hits Casey, and Addison called for a moving screen. Shifted her body into the defender, trying to free Casey. Generals over the limit in the quarter. No free throws, of course, on an offensive foul. And Roanoke gets it back. W&L up 55-40. Brought across by Hassel. Guarded by Casey. Hassel, left wing to Wheeler. Now Hassel deep left corner, defended by Smithy. Skip pass to Harrell on the right side. Harrell working baseline, forces the bounce pass through to Alexander on the weak side, and she lays it up and in. Don't know how that ball made it through, but Alexander's got 8, and it's back to a 13-point margin. Casey deep left corner. Bounce pass away to Groninger. Over to Deal. Deal puts it on the deck. Kicks it back out to Groninger. 10 on the shot clock here as Groninger steps out. Now lob for Smithy, high post. Smithy squares to the basket. Drive and dish. Horn wide open right side 3. Will not fall. Great look. Great creation by the Generals late in the possession, but it won't fall. Minute 11 to play. 55-42. Hassel. Left wing to Harrell. Live and good sets the screen. Harrell gives it up to Alexander. Now Megan Wheeler. Wheeler to the foul line. Away to Alexander. Posting up on Casey. Shoots over her but misses. Smithy grabs the board. 53 seconds left. Here comes Casey. Up the floor to Jordan Deal. Deal stops on the wing and then travels. Turnovers not a big factor in the first half, but accumulating, especially on the Washington and Lee side here in the second.
Something they struggled with in their opening game against Stevenson. Had done better in the last 2 times out.
That's 6 of them in the period for Washington and Lee. And a quick turnover. The Maroons return the favor, throwing it almost directly out of bounds with Live and Good looking for a touch in the low post. So Washington and Lee gets it back with 34 seconds to play. Across the timeline comes Casey. Gives it ahead to Jordan Deal. Shot clock differential about 3.5 seconds here. And the Generals will try to melt this down. 14 left in the period. Horn working from the left wing. Feeds Smithy. Smithy across to Groninger, who fires up the right corner 3. Nothing but net for Kate Groninger. 3 seconds for the Maroons. Here's Wheeler. Wheeler down the lane and has her runner blocked by Smithy as time expires. What a big sequence there. Kate Groninger knocking down the tray. And the Generals get the stop at the other end, and they'll take a 16-point lead into the final 10 minutes of action here in Salem. You're listening to Generals basketball on WLUR and WLUR All Access. We'll be right back to the Kreger Center.
Come on, smile. Oh, honey, he's still not smiling.
Maybe he's not a smiler.
Yeah, maybe he's just not a happy baby.
Maybe he's just being a boy.
Or maybe he's teething.
Maybe it's just a phase.
Maybe he has autism, and we can definitely do something to help.
Maybe is all you need to find out more about autism. No big, joyful smiles by 6 months is one early sign. Learn the others at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
58-42, Washington and Lee. As we get set for fourth quarter action here in this early season ODAC contest. Jeremy Franklin alongside Tyler Helms. Not the prettiest basketball really from either team in the third period. Washington and Lee struggling early to match the energy that the Maroons came out with after the halftime team talk. But at the end of the day, they only lost 4 points off the lead, still comfortably in front here.
Well, the Generals began to heat up a little bit there late in the corner. A big 3 there towards the end of the quarter, and then the block.
It was Kate Groninger who knocked down the 3. Andy Smithy had the block on Wheeler as time expired. And here's a near steal as the Generals tried to force it in. Horn runs down the loose ball after Harrell knocked it free. Smithy driving low blocks, kick to Horn, finds Hughes making the cut down the lane, and Aaron Hughes lays it up and in.
Beautiful quick passes there by the Generals.
Hughes in double figures now with 10. It's 60-42. So Casey, Hughes, Groninger, Horn, and Smithy playing against Alkiza, Maxwell, Harrell, Hassel, and Kinsler. Kinsler pulls up right side and drains the 3 off the dribble. That's her first bucket since the first period. And it pulls the Maroons back within 15. Hughes, great shot fake from the wing. Kicks to Groninger, open left side 3 is good. Kate Groninger with 11 tonight. Her third make from long range. Right back to an 18-point margin. Alkiza away to Harrell trying to answer left side. Her three no good, but Maxwell with the rebound. Kick to Hassel. Generals quickly cover Hassel, prevent her from getting off a look. She's got 12, all on three-point shots. Hassel again, wing right side, guarded by Groninger. Maxwell offers the screen. Groninger fights through it. Comes back around to Harrell, 14 to shoot. Harrell, entry pass rejected by Hughes. Harrell gets it back, feeds Alkiza. Extra pass to Maxwell for the layup. 63-47, 8:23 to play. Casey away to Horn. Bounce pass to Smithy at the foul line. Squares to the rim. Looking now. Puts it on the deck. Spins off of Max, but misses the 4-foot jump shot. It rolls off the rim. Hassel pushing it ahead to Harrell. Deep left corner, Kinsler quickly inside. Maxwell, layup good while falling to the ground, and she was falling down because she got shoved. It's another three-point play chance for Victoria Maxwell.
It's continued to be the game plan here in this second half for the Maroons. Try to get the ball into the paint, whether it be Maxwell or Alexander.
Maxwell now with 10 points to go along with 4 rebounds. She's been hampered a bit by foul trouble tonight. Set for a long stretch in the third with 3 fouls. That's the 4th personal on Megan Horn. With 8:04 to go, Maxwell's free throw good, and the Maroons trim the lead down to 13 again. 8 second half points for the senior from Salem High School. Smithy at the foul line, away to Aaron Hughes. Hughes hands off to Groninger. Picks up her dribble between the rings. Gets it away to Smithy in the corner. Feeds Hughes on another cut to the rim. And coming from out of nowhere, Whitney Hobson blocks the layup attempt. Secures the basketball. Hobson at the other end gets it to Hassel. Back out to Hobson. Now away to Harrell, wing left side. Harrell, bounce pass back to Hassel. Inside Alexander. Defense collapses. Dish to Harrell. Open for 3. Won't go. But an offensive rebound and a stick back for Kayla Kinsler. And the Maroons are within 11. Believe this is the closest they've been in the second half. And Christine Clancy will take a timeout to talk things over. 7:17 to play. What was once a 21-point lead and just recently was an 18-point margin, now down to 11.
We talked about at halftime how the Generals have done a good job preventing the Maroons from getting second chance opportunities. Well, as of late here, the Maroons have been excellent on the offensive glass and had putback opportunities, and it's gotten them back into this ball game.
What are the answers for the Generals offensively, because it's been an up and down second half?
I think the answer is, again, go back to shooting the 3 ball. You've tried to cut into the basket. Backdoor cuts haven't worked. The bigs have been there defensively for the Maroons, preventing those passing lanes. Go back to what was working for you in the opening half, and you find yourself with an 11-point lead, 7:17 left. Might not be a bad idea to maybe try to work the shot clock a little bit as well.
Try to shorten this game, perhaps. WNO 11 of 23 from three-point range tonight after going just 1 of 21 in a victory against Franklin and Marshall on Sunday. 63-52 with 7:17 to play. Taylor Casey 26 tonight, but just 2 points in the second half. Groninger's got 11, Hughes has 10. 3 players in double figures for the Maroons. Hassel with 12, Maxwell 11, and Alexander down with 10. It'll be Casey, Karandi, Deal, Groninger, and Hughes right now for the Generals against Alexander, Harrell, Hassel, Kinsler, and Hobson for the Maroons. Generals basketball, Karandi top of the arc. Feed inside for Hughes. Knocked away, but a reach-in foul called on Kayla Kinsler. That'll be the first on Kinsler and also the first team foul on the Maroons here in the fourth quarter. So just an out-of-bounds play for Washington, at least 7:04 to go. Casey inbounding to Groninger, deep right corner. Groninger out front to Hughes. Hughes back to Casey. Open for a moment, right corner 3. Good for Taylor Casey. Her 7th make from downtown tonight, her first in the second half. The lead is 14. At the other end, Alexander gets it inside. Dish to Harrell. Left corner, Kinsler. Kinsler gets by Groninger. Layup, no good. She missed the bunny. And Deal rebounds for Washington and Lee. 66-52, 6.5 to play. Karandi driving baseline and draws a foul at the rim. As we said, Andy Carandy, not a big-time scorer, but looking for her offense here and earning a trip to the foul line. That'll be the second on Kinsler. Carandy's first free throw is up and good. That's the first attempt of the second half for Washington in the lead at the line. The Generals are 7 of 7 at the stripe this game. Chance to push the lead back to 16, and she does. First two of the night for Carandy, 68-52, and the Generals pick up some pressure here. That's one way to disrupt Roanoke's offensive rhythm. Press break, though, hops into Harrell, and the Generals fortunate that that layup did not go. Could have been another three-point play chance instead. Harrell will shoot two.
The Maroons there, not much struggle there getting past the press and led to the layup opportunity.
That's the third on Jordan Deal. Harrell 1 of 2 at the line. In this game, 64% on the season. First one up and good. 6:21 remaining. It's a 15-point game pending the second free throw for Harrell. That's on its way. Got that as well. 68-54. Harrell going out. Megan Wheeler back in. Groniger's at the point right now for the Generals. Bounce pass ahead to Taylor Casey. Casey guarded closely by Hassel on the wing. Gets it away to Groniger. Left corner, Deal. Deal backing out with 12 to shoot. Gets it away to Groniger. Right side, Casey. Shot fake. Casey driving. Floater up and good from the low blocks. 31 for Casey. And a 16-point Generals advantage. Just one off the career high that she set against Roanoke in the ODAC tournament as a first year. Now Hobson on the drive, and we've got a whistle and a foul, and that's going to be number 4 on Kate Groniger. Third team foul on the Generals. Megan Horn's been sitting with 4 personals. Aaron Addison to the scores table, but not in time to come in, so Groniger still out there with 4. Hassel on the left side for the Maroons. Trying to lob it into Alexander, and Aaron Hughes read that well, just leaps up and intercepts it. 5:27 left. The Generals have it up by 16. Jordan Deal on the wing. Deal hands off to Carandy. Back to Deal. Posting up Alexander. Kick back out to Casey. Left side three is up. And good. Another for Taylor Casey. Her 8th three-pointer of the ball game. She's got a new career high with 34 tonight. And the Generals up by 19.
Well, after a quiet third quarter, she goes right back here into the fourth. They're getting her open looks. That one from deep, and still no issue getting it to fall.
Great response from this very young Washington lead team after Roanoke was just about to turn the corner and get back in this game.
Well, Roanoke was really putting the pressure on and applying a lot of pressure defensively, led to some turnovers, and as a result of that, we saw the Generals try to attack the basket a little bit and then kick it out to those open threes, and a good job there stepping up when you need to, and I thought maybe take it deep into the shot clock a little bit. The Generals have not done that. They've just took the first open look that they've had, and they've fallen as of late.
So Taylor Casey, 8 of 12 from beyond the arc tonight, 13 of 18 from the field, has not taken a single free throw. That's how she scored a bunch of her points, 13 of 14 at the line in the win over Franklin and Marshall on Sunday. 5:11 to play, 73-54. Generals again have the Maroons on the ropes here in Salem. Wheeler wing left side for Roanoke. Guarded by Casey. Wheeler spinning off of Casey. Left-handed floater from the baseline. No. Kinsler skies in for the rebound. Kicks to Hobson, who fires up the three. That won't go. The long rebound is run down by Harrell. A third chance for the Maroons. They really need to score on this possession now, especially this late in the game, down 19. Into Alexander. Great control on the low blocks as Deal went for the steal. Alexander banks it in.
Big second half for her after only having 2 at the break.
73-56 at the other end. Addison on the drive draws the foul, and she'll shoot 2. Kept Christina Harrell's feet moving, and Aaron Addison earns a trip to the line. 5 tonight for Aaron Addison. At the free throw line this season, she makes the first. She's now 4 of 4. Looking to push the lead right back to 19 with 4:32 to play. Addison knocks that down as well, 75-56. Wheeler at the other end, pulls up for a 16-footer and drains it. Generals will take that. They'd much rather see a long two than a three. 75-58. 4:15 left. Deal on the wing around a Hughes screen. Gives it to Karandi. Karandi inside to Hughes. Posting up again. Leans around Alexander, but the layup goes all the way around the rim and does not drop. At the other end, it's Wheeler. 4 minutes left. 17-point game. Left side, Harrell. Harrell attacking against Addison, who was all over her there and is whistled for the foul. Was that in the act of shooting? Yes, it was. Christina Harrell to the line for two. So a chance for the Maroons to score with the clock stopped. 3:54 to go. Harrell's first up and in. She's 4 of 5 at the line. Now in double figures with 10. Megan Horn back in for Washington in the lead. It'll be Horn, Karandi, Deal, Casey, and Addison. Check that. Smithy's going to return, and out goes Addison. For the Maroons, Maxwell, Hassel, Wheeler, Hobson, and then one more shot for Christina Harrell. 75-59, pending the second free throw. That's up and in. And the Maroons get within 15. Taylor Casey has it out front, hands it off to Deal, across to Horn. Horn away to Smithy. Inside, Deal on the post up, and she gets fouled. Jordan Deal at 5'9". I think she's taller than that, but that's what they list her as. Working on the 5'5", Molly Hassel earns a trip to the line.
I'm going to say the Generals there saw the mismatch and just passed that one inside, and now as a result, Deal finds herself in the line.
Just 2 points so far tonight for Jordan Deal. Make it 3 as the free throw is up and in. She does have 8 rebounds for Washington and Leda, first year from Springboro, Ohio. Came in averaging just over 6 points and 5 rebounds. And Deal, no good on the second. That's the first miss at the line tonight for Washington and Lee. Generals up 76-60, 3:34 to play. 11-12, W now at the foul line. Inside, Maxwell splits 2 defenders, misses the layup, gets it back. It is fouled on the second chance attempt. That's going to be on Deal, her 4th. And free throws for Maxwell. And the clock stops with 3:23 to play. Checking on the foul there. The 3 first years who start for Washington and Lee each have 4 personals. Kate Groninger's not in the game right now, but Megan Horn is playing with 4, and that's number 4 on Deal. Maxwell off target on the first free throw. Second attempt is good, 76-61. And the Maroons will pick up some pressure here. Man-to-man at least to start. Smithy gets it, hands it off to Casey. No trouble on that first look at the Roanoke press for Washington and Lee. Here's Casey, deep left corner, driving baseline, gets to the rim, too easy. 36 for Taylor Casey as she lays it in to push the lead back to 17. 3 minutes left here in the fourth, and the Generals steal the entry pass away from Maxwell. It's grabbed by Andy Karandi. And then a Roanoke foul. And that's going to mean free throws at the other end. The Generals hit the bonus with 2:58 to go. 4th personal on Maxwell.
So a lot of players now on both sides playing with 4 fouls.
Generals up 17. Still 17 as Karandi is too strong. On the first free throw, Taylor Casey out, Kate Groninger back in. Kayla Kinsler returning for the Maroons. Second shot for Karandi, good. 79-61. Ahead it comes Hobson. No time to waste here for the Maroons. Hobson's entry pass deflected by Smithy and stolen by Groninger. And the long outlet to Smithy. Smithy Generals maybe forcing it that time. They didn't need a transition look, and they ended up turning the ball over as Smithy was not able to connect with Deal underneath the rim.
Just a little too far out in front there on that run, but still not a bad look there. You find yourself up 18, try something that maybe you need later in the season.
2:37 to go. Hassel out front trying to get a look around at Alexander's screen. It's not there. She'll give it up to Harrell. Back to Hassel. Groninger with a hand in her face. Hassel around a couple of screens. Picked up by Karandi on the switch. Gives it away to Kinsler. Inside Maxwell. Posting up Smithy. Step back. 10-footer. No. Rebound to Groninger. 79-61 Generals. 2:13 left in the fourth. This will be a big win. W&L can see this one out to open up conference play against a Roanoke team that's off to its best start in 4 years. 3-1 coming in. Karandi caught without her dribble between the rings. Gives it away to Groninger. 7 on the shot clock. Groninger had to retreat to midcourt on the pass. Gives it away to Megan Horn. Horn down the lane. Rejected on the attempt by Harrell. And right as the shot clock expires, the Maroons come away with the basketball. At the other end, Hassel. Picked up by Horn in transition away to Harrell. Inside Alexander. Driving in against Karandi. Layup. No. Groninger another rebound. And the Generals closing in on the win. Up 18 with 90 seconds to play. Had a 20-point lead at the break. Dominant second quarter. Roanoke got it down to 11 earlier in the second half. But now the Generals a minute and 18 seconds away from a 1-0 conference record. Here's a steal by Harrell as Groninger was trying to feed Karandi on the backdoor cut. Harrell ahead to Kinsler. Transition layup good. With just 1:07 to play, 79-63. Final minute of the game here in Salem. Horn out front for the Generals. Away to Deal. Dribbling along the perimeter. Feeds Groninger on the wing. Groninger inside the arc. Now back out to Deal. 10 to shoot. Deal back to Groninger. Fakes the three. Drives to the lane. Ball knocked away and stolen by Kinsler. And Deal will wisely just let her go for the layup with 35 seconds to play. 79-65. Walk back across by Deal. Christine Clancy will call a timeout just to make a substitution. We'll see Lauren Oakes for the first time. First year from Spartanburg, South Carolina. Actually the first collegiate appearance for Oakes.
She'd been there at the table waiting a little bit, was wondering if she would actually be able to get into the game.
So right back to action. The Generals called time just so Oakes could check in. 23 seconds left. Oakes has it on the right wing. One dribble and she'll give it off to Groninger. Groninger around his screen into the lane. Feeds Oakes. Left corner jumper is up. No good. Rebound to Maxwell. Just 9 to go. Maxwell throws it away though, right to Groninger. Back out to Oakes, and the Generals will just hold on to the basketball. Great victory early in the season for Washington and Lee. The Generals come down to Salem and beat the Maroons on their home floor for the 5th straight season. Our final score at the Kreger Center tonight, Washington and Lee 79 and Roanoke 65. We'll take a break and come back with some post-game thoughts and a look at final statistics. Stay with us. You're listening to Generals Basketball on WLUR and WLUR All Access, powered by First Team Broadcasting.
My name is Lola Silvestri, and I'm going to be 95 this year. I was very independent. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You just heard this exact message without the s and s. If that was to understand, imagine your local hospital was missing the d types. Schedule to redcross.org. You just heard this exact message without the A's, B's, and O's. If that was hard to understand, imagine your local hospital was missing the A, B, or O blood types, and a loved one was in desperate need of a blood transfusion. Schedule to donate at redcrossblood.org.
In 50 feet, turn left. Why are you driving so slowly?
After a few drinks, I'm taking it slow.
Well, you're not fooling the cop behind you.
What?
Get ready to pay in 0.1 miles.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hi everyone, I'm Kristen Bell, and I invited you here to my hotel room to talk about your cheeks. Your big, beautiful cheeks. Get your mind out of the gutter, I'm talking about swabbing them. Did you guys know that each year 20,000 Americans with blood cancer are searching for their life-saving marrow match? So here's how we can help. It's really, really simple. All you have to do is swab your cheek. This cheek. Then go to giftoflife.org and request a free kit so that you can swab a cheek and save a life.
Welcome back to the Kreger Center in Salem. A career-high 36 points tonight for the junior Taylor Casey, leading Washington and Lee to a 79-65 win over Roanoke. ODAC opener for the Generals. They improved to 3-1 overall. The Maroons fall to 3-2, now 0-2 in conference play. Impressive shooting display, not just for Casey. The Generals is a team 13 of 25 from three-point range tonight after going 1 of 21 just 2 days ago in Pennsylvania.
Well, all the talk was Taylor Casey early on, but Kate Groninger was 0 for 3 to start this game, made her last 4 shots that she attempted, and 3 of those came from downtown as well. And so the first year there, and Groninger can get involved from beyond the arc as well, can make the Generals be very dangerous to have 2 spot-up shooters.
So the Generals get the victory. Casey's final line, 14 of 19 from the field, 8 of 12 from three-point range. So she scores 27 without hitting a single three-pointer against Franklin and Marshall. The previous career high for Casey without knocking down a tray was 7 points. Now the tables are turned. She never got to the foul line tonight and instead just lights out from beyond the arc. But Taylor Casey picking up maybe where she left off at the end of her rookie campaign. I would contend that she never really got in any kind of rhythm last year. The foot injury preseason, played limited minutes when she did return in January, never got back up to full force, and maybe by the time she was 100%, the Generals' offensive options were so nailed down with Emily Persick and Katie Pop and what you got from the front court that there weren't as many looks for Casey early on, with young players adapting to college basketball, with some other returning players maybe getting used to new roles on the court. Taylor Casey putting this team on her shoulders, and as a result, the Generals are 3-1.
Well, Taylor Casey really has shown that she can do it all. It's hard to lose getting to the basket as well when you look at 8 from 12 from beyond the arc. But Casey did an excellent job getting in the lane as well, making those floaters. Had another one taken away from her as a result of an offensive foul. And so Casey's night could have been even just a little bit better in that point total. But you look at that as well, and you talk about the players that step up otherwise. Sophomore and Aaron Hughes ends up having 10 points off of the bench,
along with 5 rebounds and 5 assists. You mentioned Kate Groninger heating up after a slow start, finished with 11 points. And then spread out after that, Erin Addison had 7. Megan Horn, 5 points, 4 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks, and a steal. That's a nice stat line for Andy Smithy. 3 points, 8 rebounds for Jordan Dill, and 3 points, 3 boards, 2 steals for Andy Carandi. As a team, the Generals shoot a very healthy 48% from the field, and they did miss a couple of free throws late after they were perfect, but still 12 of 14. Not as many attempts as in the win over Franklin and Marshall, but continuing to take advantage of the times when they do go to the charity stripe.
And that, for me, that's going to be a key looking forward over the course of the entire season. If you can keep your free throw percentage as high as it is, you're going to be very high in the country, if not leading Division III when it comes to that percentage. They've just been outstanding at the line this season.
Came in at 88.5%. That will actually go down after they shot 12 of 14. That's only 85.7%. 5 players in double figures for the Maroons, led by 14 points from Kayla Kinsler, who also had 5 rebounds and 4 assists. 12 points, 8 rebounds for Victoria Maxwell. 12 points for Molly Hessel. 4 of 6 from beyond the arc. 11 points and 8 rebounds for Christina Harrell. 10 points off the bench from Asia Alexander. 4 for Megan Wheeler. And 2 for Whitney Hobson.
Well, and if you're the Maroons there looking for a positive takeaway, is you have those 5 players in double digits, and now Kiza is not one of them. She had 0 points in this game, 0 for 6 from the floor. She came in averaging 11.3 points per game, and so they found other players able to get it done when she was not able to. So if those players as a unit get going when Alkiza heats up, can make it where teams have to defend numerous players, can make Roanoke be difficult to play against defensively in the ODAC.
Tonight's broadcast of Generals basketball has been brought to you in part by the Washington and Lee University Store. Celebrate your favorite Generals team with a sports tee, decal, or hat. If you can think of it, we probably have it. The store is open 7 days a week. It is owned and operated by Washington and Lee. All proceeds go back to the W&L community, helping to fund athletic, alumni, and student programs. Order online anytime at store.wlu.edu. And be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter for exclusive online promotions. Go Generals. So an impressive performance from Washington and Lee. And Tyler, you got a conference win under your belt. You're 3-1, and you haven't played the home game this year.
Well, and you come out and you pick up the first win and your first possible ability in the conference play, and that could be huge moving forward as we discuss now. Tonight started 5 straight conference games for the Generals, and so you get the win in the first one, try to carry over that momentum into your first home game.
The next 3 are at the Duchess Watt Tennis Center, which will be the Generals' home for the next 2 years while the new indoor athletic facility is being built. Lynchburg a week from tonight. That is a huge contest for Washington and Lee. Then the team that knocked you out of the ODAC tournament last year, Emory and Henry, and then the rematch with Roanoke. It's only a couple of weeks away on Monday, December the 3rd. So you want to capitalize on getting that away win and now maybe get a victory or two. You talked about early in the broadcast tonight, the Generals with this young team maybe sneaking up on some of the other schools in the ODAC. They've got some opportunities in the near future to do that.
Well, they have to just come out and execute well like they did tonight. Slow start. That's the one thing we didn't discuss. The Generals started off very slow.
7-0, I think, Roanoke early.
In this game, and they didn't get discouraged. A lot of times as a young unit, you could get very discouraged. You find yourself down 7 early in the game, not able to hit any sort of shot, whether it's driving into the paint or a jumper. But the Generals stayed composed and got right back into the game and increased this to where it was a 21-point game at one point.
So Washington and Lee 1-0 in the conference, 3-1 overall. The Generals with the home opener next Tuesday night against Lynchburg. That's a 7 o'clock tip. We'll have live video coverage on Stretch Internet. You can find the link at generalsports.com. Our next WLUR broadcast will be on Wednesday, December 5th, when Washington and Lee visits Eastern Mid-Night for a 7 o'clock tip in Harrisonburg. Our thanks to Ned Norland back in the WLUR studio and to Andy McEnroe and the great crew at First Team Broadcasting. You've been listening to Generals Basketball on WLUR and WLUR All Access. For Tyler Helms, I'm Jeremy Franklin. So long from Salem, and have a safe and happy Thanksgiving holiday. Our final score in ODAC Women's Hoops tonight, Washington and Lee 79 and Roanoke 65.